20 years leading up to 1968, the Air Force Reserve was under the Continental Air Command. The end of the Continental Air Command gave birth to the Air Force Reserve 50 years ago. The Director of History for the Air Force Reserve Command, Donald Boyd, says the Continental Air Command paved the way for future servicemen and women.
At Warner Robins, it was a very significant footprint, but when it went away, the Air Force Reserve sort of moved right in behind that and has grown on base ever since.
One command died, but another command formed, and Museum of Aviation employee Bill Hall says the command became more than just a support system for our country.
In 1968, they became part of the Air Force's total force. So today, instead of being a support, basically a support entity, they are on the front lines along with the active duty.
Robins AFB historian William Head says since then, the Air Force Reserve has grown greatly.
In 1968, it became Air Force Reserve, strictly Air Force Reserve. So that was AFRES. And then recently, I'd say in the last 15 years, it became Air Force Reserve Command. Command is an important designation because it requires senior leaders, senior officers to command it, and it has a different standing within the Air Force.
Boyd says there are many things that represent the Air Force Reserve, but one stands out.
The things that makes the Air Force Reserve special, especially over the last 50 years, is the way that we sort of bring those components together, those individual pieces of an airman's life, and create a strong and resilient airman. And I think what overlays on top of that is training that's second to none, experience that's second to none. So today, the Air Force Reserve is uniquely positioned to serve in the global warfighting.
50 years later, and the Air Force Reserve continues to have a lasting impact on the Warner Robins community.
And it shows that financially it is obviously the most important entity in terms of economic impact in the community, the largest, and of course it's one, if not the largest employers in Georgia. So in the gravitational pull it has on this community in terms of bringing various organizations, and it just brings a certain gravitas to the community.